Hello and welcome. Oh no,
There he is.
I lost my video feed. And what's that? How that's nobody's supposed to see that.
That's
That's
your
my
super stud. That's your super stud Halloween outfit.
Wow.
that's not a Halloween outfit.
Oh, you go to bed in
my
that. That
that's
was
my
your honeymoon
uniform.
outfit. That was your honeymoon outfit. I forgot.
That is great, David. I like that.
It was let's see. That wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, what in
No,
the world?
yeah, I
What in the
can't
world?
imagine that.
Okay. Welcome back to Remembering Tuscola. I've lost my train of thought. I'm David Porter. This is Bill Englehart and Mike Carroll. Or Superman's sidekicks,
Yeah.
There you go.
Batman and Robin. Oh, are you freezing up already? There, you're back. I lost you there for a second.
I mentioned Larry Bienis's name, and all of a sudden the computer froze up.
Well, that's what happens.
So Larry was giving me a hard time about how come Becky and I don't go up and see him in Chicago. I said, Larry, I don't think I'm the one that left Tuscola and abandoned all of us here. He said, good point. So I let it go. But anyway, shout out to Larry and Sue Bienis. Saw him this weekend, looking great. He and I launched into about a 1 hour argument, which we just love. Larry, one last thing. I was right. That's
Yeah.
all my
Good
stuff.
people.
Bill, anybody you want to go off on or talk about?
No, I don't talk bad about people.
I didn't talk about Larry. He's a great guy.
Well,
I
you
don't.
just have to remember the two rules when it comes to Mike Carroll. Rule one is Mike Carroll is always right.
No, no,
Two is when Mike Carroll is wrong, refer to rule one.
no, no. I'm not a narcissist. My rule number one is you're wrong.
Mhm.
You-
You're freezing up again. Well, we're having a little technical difficulty here. We'll see if it continues.
We better hurry and get to the pictures
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, we could do that.
while we're rolling. We can talk afterwards.
Yeah. If I can remember how to do it.
Yeah, hit the button. Hit some button.
Now, every time you update, it seems like they change where things are at. Okay. There we go.
Oh my goodness. That's an old picture.
Jack Williams.
That's Jack Williams on the left.
Miss
In the
House-
middle is
Miss Hauser.
Mrs. Hauser.
Laura Hauser.
Mrs. Carmack is 7th grade teacher, 8th grade teacher on the right. Mrs. Carmack lived, she was 102 when she passed
think
away.
so. Oh, is that-
Hmm.
What year is this, David? That'll help us out.
I don't know.
Is that Rita? Rita Duenson?
Rita's too young for this. It's interesting because Jack
Looks young.
he was my 8th grade principal. And that was in 61, 62.
No, while you were in the 8th grade,
Mm-hmm.
he was your principal. I'll be darned.
That was his first year.
So this
LH had moved on to whatever.
Michelle Lustig says she thinks this is the winners of the American Legion speech contest, but I don't have any other names.
So this would be after me because it's certainly not before me.
I would guess
70.
Mid 60s.
Well, I'd say it could be 65. Some of these are out of the 65 envelope.
Jack became a superintendent, about 68?
So is this 8th grade in 65?
Probably.
So this would be class of 69, 70.
But I just don't recognize them.
No.
More of the train derailment that we had last week.
That was some kind of wreck.
Yep.
Hey. On
I
the
see
second
Ray-
one from the left, Ray Carlson. Fourth one is George Barber. Back in the back row. Oh,
Bill Cook.
second one from the left on the front row is William Cook. Bill Cook.
Yeah.
And Bill Roach
Is
in the back,
on the
right.
far right. Mayor Jones.
Mayor Jones is holding
on the shovel.
spade. Mr. Burns, next mayor after Mr. Jones, is standing there.
Keith Gordy next to the mayor.
Right. And this is that, I think this is the telephone office that went right next to the old Five and Dime.
Yep.
But Marilyn Klein says Bill Gordy, second from right.
Bill Gordy, Keith's his son.
Well, Keith's his son, I guess. Yeah.
Bill Roach.
He was a manager.
The tallest guy back in the middle looks like Wayne Sipe.
It looks like Wayne, but
he was on
city council.
I think he was on city council.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Bill Cook was on city council.
Yeah.
Carlson was on city council. Bonnie Hanners from my class. That's Bill Rogers behind her. Bonnie, there must be a Miss Tuscola contest. Bonnie and sister Judy married Clayton Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that's Miss Tuscola contest at the community building.
Probably.
The panels look like those panels. There you
Debbie
go.
Hackett, my class.
Mm-hmm.
Good picture, Debbie.
Real estate sale. There we go. There's Bill Cook.
Little Bill.
We talked about Big Bill Cook and the groundbreaking ceremony. Worked at the coal mine. There's young Bill.
One of the Cooley girls.
Which one? There's the Summerlot Fay girl.
Debbie.
And somebody saw her out at the Illinois. She was at the Illinois game.
She was interviewed.
She lives in the Boston area now.
Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Plymouth, Mass.
She retired from teaching. She was at Atwood and Arcola teaching.
Yeah, married Fay. One of the Fay boys is.
Now that girl looks terribly familiar, and I just can't name her.
Kathy Hanner says left to right, Bill Cook, Kathy Cooley, Debbie Summerlot, and then Deb Fay says fourth one is let me thought I had the fourth. Oh, Nancy O'Brien.
Nancy O'Brien. Mm-hmm. That's Phil's sister.
Phil was in your class.
Yep.
Worked for IDOT down at Paris. Great guy. Angela Black from my class. And I don't know if this is Miss Tuscola or what it is.
Sailing into Spring.
She was a great singer. Had a great voice.
And I think that's Bill Rogers. Oh, it's the
yeah. Bill was master of ceremonies. It looks like Miss Wetzel. Is that Hackett Wetzel?
Margaret. I think it is. I see in the background, I see Betty Carlson. And I see, well, it almost looks like Bev Hastings back there.
On the far left, back of Bev Hastings.
Yeah, it does look like Bev.
These must be the judges.
For the Miss Tuscola.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
They tried to bring her from out of town. This looks like the
happiest bunch in town.
This is their girl lost. Their girl lost. On the back is Ray Carlson. Is that Mr. Jolly on the right on the back?
Not for sure. I see this is a Brady down here.
That Tom?
Tom or Joe? Was
Joe.
there a Joe?
Who had the twin boys? I just talked this morning to Tom Brady on the phone. Probably Joe Brady. Who else is there?
I don't.
Marcy Shoemaker says back row right, William Hausman.
William Hausman, Bill. Okay, there you go.
All righty. Nope. They're all from Hugo.
Rhonda Fair says James Pat Patterson, back row right.
Pat Patterson flew planes, had a son in school with me. He wasn't in my class. Pat Patterson. Yeah, I remember that.
She called him James, I think.
Well, these pictures are on the Remembering Tuscola Facebook page. So if people are watching and they know somebody we don't have identified, you can go in there and help us identify them.
Well, we ought to.
A little
Hmm.
blurry, but I don't know them.
Never wear black dresses with dark hair against a black background.
Maureen Trinkle says her dad in a suit, but doesn't say which ones are dad.
No other people response on this one?
I would say he would be in the back
No,
row.
not a lot.
We're not doing real well. You don't know what year this is?
No, some of these are from the 65 folder and some of them are miscellaneous.
A girl on the right with the big smile had just been to a Warrior game and seen Mike Carroll for the first time. She's elated.
Yeah, I'll probably get one date with her.
And Marcy Shoemaker says Sharon Jolly on the left.
It is. Golly, it is. Yeah.
Joy Cox is tagged and Joy says, yes, that's mom. And thinking that's Sharon Wilson, question mark.
Seriously. Oh my goodness.
So what year is this?
It'd be in the mid 60s.
62?
I'm not for sure. I'd just say mid 60s. I don't remember Sharon looking like that. I certainly remember Jolly looking that way.
Wayne Neal in the middle, the postmaster. Gary Neal's dad, and Tamara, who's in Bill's class. And I'm trying to think. The guy on the right looks familiar.
Barbara Kerning says Wendell Cannon is on the right.
Okay. There's the old T&B ashtray. T&B gave away a lot of those ashtrays.
How we doing?
Well,
we're down to about 90%, I think.
Now I got several names on this one. So there's people in here you should recognize.
Is that a
seriously?
You guys didn't eat your Wheaties this morning, did you?
Well, just give us a name and we'll pick out which one it was. Just tell us one name.
Toppy Moody.
Right?
That's Toppy in the white.
I just whispered to Bill that looks like Toppy Moody. Yeah. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Give me credit.
Oh, yeah.
Toppy graduated, I think, in 56 or 57.
Actually, a little bit before, I think.
No, Jim Hausman's group.
Really?
Yeah.
Toppy, I'm trying not to age you.
Toppy and Jim told me they started the WIC, the dance. They in fact, I said, the downtown Friday night dance, Saturday night dance. I said, what does WIC stand for? And they said, Wickiwam. They gave it an Indian name. I think that's what they said.
My goodness.
Toppy's
Liz Hausman.
Okay. I got Toppy, you get Liz. Which one's Liz? One more name.
Marcy says Liz is on the right. And let me see what else we've got here. Toppy says Joyce Baker and me at some reception. She says this might have been when Tuscola had a reception for Reverend Jack Jones when he was leaving Tuscola and moving to LaSalle, Peru to be a minister there.
Yeah.
Jones was on the steering committee to build the addition to the Jarman Hospital. He was a fabulous minister at the United Church of Christ, and she was on the committee that put on the reception.
Jack was a wonderful guy. Their only son was Bobby, my class, who about 2 or 3 years ago, Jim Wright and Bob Taylor and I went up to see him in St. Charles right before he died. His wife he wanted to see some classmates. And Jack, they went to LaSalle, Peru. Becky and I, when we got married, thought of Jack Jones to marry us. And we picked up the Sunday Chicago Tribune, and that's saw he passed away. So we waited too long.
I think so.
Jack was a great guy. Well, it looks like young Chris Hill, but I don't know if it is.
That's the
So-
consensus.
Young Chris. Uh,
So Kevin Connor says, kind of looks like my Aunt Leota Randolph on the left of Chris, which was his mom's sister, Chris's aunt also. Looks like Chris's mom, Betty, is on the right of him.
On the right of Chris?
Yeah.
No, that's not.
That's not Betty. I don't believe.
No.
Yeah, because that one looks to be too old to be his mother.
No, no.
Let's see. Tracy Con Bovey says, is this Grandma Connor and her husband Emmett?
That does look like, I think that is Emmett Connor.
Yeah, Linda Taylor says Emmett Connor.
Harry and Carl's brother.
Yes.
Emmett Connor, Grandma Connor, Leota Randolph, and Chris Hill.
Yeah.
Don't know what the event is, but it's at the community building.
Well, there's some more. There's oh boy.
No,
On the
go ahead. On the back left, that's Moody, Dale Moody.
Moody ran the Strand, and there's one of my favorite people of all time, one of the greatest guys in Tuscola.
Yep. Without a doubt.
Yep.
Quentin Weber.
Quentin Weber lived down the street from us.
And here we have another Connor. This is Mr. and Mrs. Connor, and their daughter was Chubb, or their son was Chubb, and daughter was Sharon Swing.
Okay, so there's Carl, Emmett.
This is Edgar and Marie.
Edgar and Marie.
Ed and Marie.
Right.
You got
Ed
Dale Moody.
Dale actually made I don't know where it's at now. Toppy may know. He actually made a model of the Strand Theater.
They still have it. I think it's in the museum.
Is it? It's about foot high, 2 foot wide. It's a beautiful, perfect reproduction of it.
That's Mrs. Weber down
That's
there.
Quentin's wife, Catherine.
On the far right.
Far right down is Catherine Weber. They had 3 girls and 2 boys, I think, didn't they?
Weber's?
Weber. They had
several children.
Shirley was my class, married Bob Taylor.
Couldn't ask for a better guy than Quentin Weber.
Quentin was a carpenter. I actually worked with Quentin a couple of summers. We went out and painted a barn one time, and he got way up on the point of the barn, and he had 2 ladders, and he put a 2x8 between them and got a 10-gallon bucket and stood on the bucket and leaned out on a rope and painted the end of the crow's nest. I said, Quentin, I don't think I want to do that.
Quentin was a Seabee in World War II, he went to Pearl Harbor like a day or so after Pearl Harbor.
Navy guy.
And he got some, as they hopped the islands building, he brought home some souvenirs.
And his brother was in the Battle of Elmer, I think was in the Battle of the Bulge. Bastogne, wasn't he? Was that Elmer?
He was at Bastogne. Yeah. Junior, they called him.
Junior. That's back.
These are the Newman Stumpers.
Well, not all. That's isn't that Leonard?
Well, it looks like George.
Looks like George Leonard, but I don't see his wife, Betty.
Well,
and there's Mr. Warfel. There's is that not Warfel? Warders.
Yeah,
Francis Warders. Is that his brother?
I don't know.
Got several pictures from this event. It looked like a big dance, square dance or something.
They did square dancing back then.
And I got a lot more comments on some of these pictures, not this one, but on some of these pictures, though I thought I would.
Square dancing was now the second guy from back row right is Oliver Glenn, Jimmy Glenn's dad. I don't remember what his wife looked like. Third guy looks familiar right here.
Marcy says, Charlie and Ruth Ann Hausman, far right.
Anybody
And
else?
center, Harold and Naomi Hackett.
Well, that's,
That's a bad picture of Harold, but that is Naomi.
that's Naomi in the middle. And Harold, it doesn't look like Harold.
No, it doesn't.
Of course, he had white hair, wavy.
Yeah, but
White
see,
hair
he's
wave.
got the farmer's tan there on his forehead, and that
Brandon?
just doesn't look like him, does it?
No.
Beth Swihart
Naomi
Fancher
looks a lot
says,
like Debbie, didn't she? I guess I just didn't pay enough attention.
What'd you say,
Beth
David?
Swihart Fancher says they would get pins for dancing different places. So they would go around and collect pins, I guess.
I see Myron Pangburn, second.
Second rise, Myron.
Oh, that's Albert Teeters.
Albert and his Mary Teeters on the far right.
Yeah.
Myron,
Nola Pangburn.
Myron and Nola Pangburn. And then the back on the fiddle is Bill Englehart.
I don't think so.
You
And
know, the second couple in from the left, you know who that is.
That looks like Junior Decker.
Junior and
Sandy.
Sandy Decker. JR.
That's it. And you got Pangburns, right?
Pangburns and
Did you get Teeters?
far
Yeah,
right.
we got Mary and Albert on the far right.
Albert. Okay. And
Anybody else?
Copy says next to the Deckers, Max and Anita Warnes.
Max
By the Deckers, also the Travises. So there's several comments.
Where are the Travises?
Well, she just says Max and Anita Warnes by the Deckers, also the Travises. So I don't know if that means next to them or somewhere else in the picture.
Well, that looks like that Leo. This is back in this might be late 50s.
No, I don't think so.
1960.
I think they were all still dancing.
There,
Oh, the guy.
Mr. Warder's up there.
Yeah, that's Francis.
Who's got the
That guy there looks familiar in the white shirt. I'd like to know who this big old tall drink of water is.
He may be a Newman boy. You're right.
Might be.
We said George Leonard, but I think we were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these are from all over. I know, is that Sam Green in the tie in the back on the stage? I only say that because the sign says the caller is Sam Green.
Yeah, no, he's laying down there. This is what's called break time. I remember a lot of square dancing back about 8th grade freshman year. Like
we used to do it on the stage at North Ward.
Yeah,
didn't we? Remember?
Okay, let's start getting some good guesses here.
Oh yeah. Well, I have no guess for that.
Give us one name, we'll tell you who it is.
I don't have any names on this one.
Yeah, there's a reason.
It's at the community building.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything here either. Some of these negatives are in better shape than others.
This one's a little blurry.
Yeah.
Can't help you.
I like the little girl in the background though.
That's cute. Looks like a doll, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She's a doll. There's Mr. Green.
Yeah, Sam Green.
Sam Green. Sam Green.
Sam Green went to Mattoon High School.
Say, I do have some names on this one.
Give us a name and we'll pick them out.
Well, I see Albritton's right there.
Max Albritton.
Yeah.
I just got a call from Max this morning. Coming down for Ronnie Wynn's.
Well, if I
that's Swihart's. That's Gaylord Swihart.
Gaylord Swihart was quite a dancer.
There you go. That's the name I was going to give you.
We got Gaylord, and we got Amos Albritton and their spouses.
I watched Gaylord fast dance. He was really a good dancer. He cut a rug. He and Fred Holste were great fast dancers.
Cut a rug.
He could cut a rug. He could cut a dido.
A dido.
He could cut a dido.
Okay, the couple on the second from right. Do you know those?
Second one in? No.
Second from the right, according to Marcy. No, let's see. According to Kathy Clapper, that's Bud and Norma Kleiss.
Seriously. You know, I think of Bud Kleiss with white hair.
I think of me with hair. What do you mean?
Bud and Norma lived down the street from us in their last house in Parkview.
Okay, Marcy's got some other names. Let's see. She said, of course, some of these we already have. She said third couple from the left, Gaylord and Clarice Swihart.
Clarice.
Swihart, fourth, Amos Albritton and wife, second from right, Bud and Norma Kleiss. Debbie Carter, far right, Gene and Irene Reinhardt. And then
Where's Gene and Irene Reinhardt?
On the far right.
Oh, okay.
Leanne Hausman Fitzgerald says, Mom and Dad aren't in this picture, but I remember the square dancing day. Let's see. Susie Bowles Kingery says, third couple from the right, Don and Nina Kahn. Next to them, Jesse and Ruth Benner.
Ruth Benner's my neighbor, and that is Jesse Benner.
When Teresa Kahn
Ruth turned 90.
Ruth turned 90, sent her a card. Wonderful neighbor. See her every day going to her mailbox or out and about. She drives a car still.
Teresa Kahn, a couple on the far left is Tony and Sharon Thompson. And let's see. A lot of comments on this picture.
I'll be darned.
Gene and Irene Reinhardt, right end. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of comments on that one. None on this one. Looks like
break time. Oh, there's Kenny.
Kenny, you were one of our favorite, the barber. Cut my hair for old flat top Kenny. Was it Dead Eye Kenny?
Dead Eye. Pardon me.
He was my first barber.
And that Tabitha right next to him?
Yeah, that's his wife on his left.
Tabitha.
Well, I don't know about the Tabitha because we always had another name for her, and I'm trying to think of her nickname.
Mrs. Hubert?
Boots was her nickname. They went to Presbyterian Church.
This girl looks familiar.
I remember Kenny's barbershop. Kenny's barbershop was about a half a block from my house. And of course, we had a lot of kids in our family, so my mom ran a pretty tight ship. And so you go into Kenny's barbershop, her rule was you could pick out one comic book and you sit down and you want to pick out a long comic, a big, thick comic book, because you're not getting up to get another one. You get one and that's it. And you even try to get up, you hear that finger snap. Boy, you hear that snap, you better sit down, whether there's a chair under you or not. You better.
Well, David, I understand that rule for like one beer, one cigarette, but one comic book?
One comic book. You get one comic book, and then you sit down and you don't get up again until it's your turn to get in the chair.
How about the pop machine? He had a pop machine over there.
Oh no.
Oh, no?
No.
Well, it was an extra dime.
That would cost money.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done with your haircut, Kenny give you a piece of bubble gum.
I just got that Butch Rose stuff in my hair, and then you take that big plastic comb, blood would drop out of your hair. Yeah.
So in the back row, we got Oliver Glenn.
Oliver Glenn on the left.
Then we got Don Con, you said, and Amos Albritton.
Miss Albritton was in charge of the draft board in
Selective service.
1965 through 70 when the Vietnam
Jean
War was
Albritton.
on. And Jean Albritton was she got more flowers and chocolates, and people waved at her. Please, please.
So you got Albritton's and you got Glenn's,
And
Mr.
Tom,
and Mrs. Oliver Glenn. And
Buns.
then Marcy says second couple from the left, Mr. and Mrs. Keith, Vicky's mom and dad. And you got
Vicky.
the Collins, right?
Vicky who?
Well, it says Mr. and Mrs. Keith,
Oh, Keith.
Keith.
How you spell that?
K-E-I.
Keith.
That's Bill Grove.
Well, that's where the funeral home was at.
Mhm.
Keith Funeral Home. Ron Keith was our coroner years later. That's on the right is Mr. Donaldson.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy
it
Donalds
is.
or Donalds?
Yeah.
Jim Donalds.
What a nice man.
His son Jimmy was in our class.
Can't get the others.
There's J.R. Junior Decker, and there's bottom row left is 1955 homecoming queen Sandy Decker.
Bob Crossman is next to Junior Decker.
And according to what you said, there's Leo Travis. If you're right, second from the right is Leo Travis and Alberta. I just knew Alberta when she had white hair. So if that's Alberta, is that what they say? Leo and Alberta?
Leo and Alberta. Travis, yep.
It's really cool seeing these pictures of Sandy because, I knew Sandy in the 80s when I was a reporter and of course I run into her now once in a while and I work with her daughter and her son Colby was I think a senior when I was a freshman and Sandy was in my mom's class. So I've got a lot of fond memories of Sandy, but this would be an era that I of course wouldn't have known her.
Yeah. Now is that Leo and Alberta Travis? Did people recognize them? I think someone earlier said that was Leo.
Yeah, Janice Snyder says both second from right, my grandma and grandpa Travis.
That's Bob's
parents.
Bob's parents. Lived out by Rest Ridge. Well, there's Jesse Benner on the right. They even dressed alike, it looks like.
Back in the day.
And Ruth, and that looks like Ruth right there.
Yeah, it does.
And the second from the right, he was center for Hinesboro High School basketball team.
I baled hay for Jesse Benner.
You sure it wasn't Hugo?
Well, it could have been Hugo. Now there's Myron Pangburn on the right.
And Nola in front of him.
Nola. And
nope.
Rudy Huber says Delbert, Phyllis Millsap, Myron and Nola Pangburn. Marcy says Max and Anita Warrens on the left.
Next Warren.
The second one in is Delbert Millsap, who worked at Kellogg Oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down by the highway. Oh, there's the old do-si-do, flip them around, call your partner out and yell to the dog, move, they called it. I was quite a square dancer in my day.
Barcy says Charlie and Ruth Ann Hausman left.
We'd start a square dance club, but neither one of us would last, I don't think. Maybe
Well,
one dance.
Is that Becky spinning her dress there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a cheerleader outfit. Yeah. Yeah, I could do what's called tag team square dancing. Okay, we ought to start. That is your wife.
That is my wife
Second,
sitting there on that stool.
second left is the beautiful Andrea Surma
Look at that.
Engelhardt. So you ought to get the people on either side of her.
Now, I will tell you, she was a good looking girl.
Still is. Don't screw this up.
Well, no, I'm trying not to.
Don't
You
screw
said
this up.
was?
He
Bill, did you say
He
was?
said was. He said was. He screwed it. The hands off the chess piece. He screwed the pooch.
That's well, it's not quite as bad as what Mike said last week. So
Now, the love of my life. I'm still hearing the love
Yeah,
of my
that's-
life thing.
Not good.
Now, come on. These are out of town girls. It's a style show.
It is a style show, but you know what? The one on the blonde looks familiar, but they're older, I think, than Andrea's. If that's style, that's Andrea in high school.
Yeah.
Luann, is it Hoey? Hoey says she's on the right side in her Sunday coat.
Oh, way down here.
That's Luann. Oh my goodness.
That's Luann Ford.
Luann Ford. I'll be darned.
Kit Kahneman and
Motormouth. Candy Taylor.
Candace Taylor.
No, I say that fondly.
No, too
because
late. Hands off.
now
Hands off the
that's-
chest.
We
No, Candy could talk it.
yeah,
Candy could talk, and that's the youngest Kahneman
Kahneman
girl.
right there.
There, and that's in the middle on the stool is Rick. That was a joke.
That's
That was a joke, Rick.
That's a joke.
Kit was a cute little girl. I had a date with Kit.
Look at this. That's Mrs.
Oh,
Cohen.
Adeline
Cohen.
Adeline Cohen holding the purse over there. Alvin, Jerry, get up here. Your
Get
dad's
out.
working.
Help your father.
Help your father.
Get
Candy Taylor.
Kahneman. Isn't that something? What a great picture.
Great picture. Candy passed away, what, 15 years ago?
She's been gone a long time.
Okay.
Let
Let me
don't know who
see.
the little girl is.
Rudy Huber, of course, says Karen and Kit Kahneman. Mary Toomey Freeman says, I believe that's my little sister Jane Toomey in the middle.
Oh my goodness, sitting on the stool.
Jane Toomey.
Candy Taylor back floral top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Here's a small world story if you got a second.
you got all the time in the world.
So Bill Huber, the 1940-41 team, 39-40-41 Al Keish coach, was undefeated. I think for 3 or 4 years, there were 36 wins and 2 losses. And the only 2 losses were to Champaign High School. And they were beat by Champaign star halfback, Bob Kahneman, who married Bill Huber's sister. How's that for a small story?
Susie.
Susie. No.
Did you see Bergie run?
Bergie's right.
Yeah.
Now, what was Rick's mom's name? Wasn't Susie. Susie's
Mary
Bill's
Jo.
wife. Mary Jo. Mary Jo was Bill Huber's sister.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So Kit and Rudy are first cousins.
Adeline with dark hair.
Look at
Back in
Adeline.
the day.
Look at Adeline. That's Mardina Bridges.
Oh,
I had a date with her. Had a date with Kit. Mardina was a brain. She was a pretty girl and smart as whip. She's a professor of English out at University of California, Davis campus, is it?
not for
Was?
sure. Class of 1966.
That's Bill's class.
Mike, of all these girls you dated, who's the love of your life?
Oh, Becky.
Oh, okay.
I started to say Andrea.
I took Mardina out.
I see
Yeah.
somebody
I've got
I had
a
a little talking to with you.
yeah. I had a Mardina story. Took her to homecoming my junior year, and I got a Jerry tag getting my haircut story.
Yeah, but you're not going to tell that
I'm
on
not gonna tell that
air.
story.
No,
There's
pass
Becky.
on that one.
Oh boy,
Oh,
on the
yeah.
right,
Becky Alexander
Becky Alexander.
on the
passed away.
right.
On the left is Sharon Shue.
Sharon
Shue.
Williams.
Sharon Williams. On the seat, not sure. Looks familiar.
And boy, the older gal there, I know her and I can't think of her name. Who
That was-
sat over there on
That was
the
the one
right?
with Andrea that you couldn't figure out.
Huh. Yeah,
sat
I
with
think you're
Andrea.
right.
Got any names, David?
You got all the names I had.
Okay. That's Denny Shuey from my class, and that's Janet Stroll.
And Janet Stroll, and then Debbie Fay,
and
Debbie Summerlot.
Debbie Fay. Oh, there's Nola.
No, it's Ann Curley.
Oh, that is Ann Curley. Ann Curley was our 1965 homecoming queen with Lonnie Von Lincoln.
Pretty girl.
Pretty girl. Oh, that's Marcia Truitt, Marcia Williams on the left.
Yeah.
And the girls.
I bet you have names for this, don't you?
I have some names.
Okay, good. Tell us who they are, because they all grew up.
Johnny Dobbs says Brenda Stansbury and daughter Nina, class of 71. Brenda was a wonderful lady and talented seamstress. Gene Waters says, I think one of the Hill girls on Brenda's right. That's all the names I've got.
Marcia was a pretty girl, Truitt.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's Lenita. No, that's
Sue Hahn.
Sue
Aldridge.
Sue Aldridge.
Nancy Forster.
Nancy Forster and
Sharon Copeland.
Sharon Copeland.
Yeah.
Nancy and Sharon were class of 64.
Nancy's 66. Sue is
66
class
after me.
67, and Sharon Copeland's 67. Nancy's with me, 66.
And Nancy's up in Chicago area. Sharon, last I heard, was down in Alabama.
She's Alabama. She even developed the accent.
Southern girl.
Pretty girl. She worked at Gus's.
Yes, she did.
I think you got all three of those names, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, there's Jane Furco.
Oh
my gosh.
Darn.
Wow.
I'd like to have that picture. Man, she was special. Class of 66.
Wonderful gal.
First one in our class to pass away. Actually, we had lost a girl in the 8th grade, Christy Vestal, but Jane was the first one.
Jane had a car wreck down at Southern, was it?
She was in a car and was thrown out.
Yeah. Now the photographer looks familiar too. I know that guy.
I was wondering who the photographer was.
The middle lady.
Was that Margaret Weaver?
Probably have a name, don't you?
Marcy says that's Margaret Weaver.
Margaret Weaver, yeah.
Oh, there's the photographer. Toppy says that's Bob Quinn with his camera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, Jane.
She died too early, Jane. She was full of life.
Man, she was full of life.
She was full of life. She was a prototypical 60s girl.
She
her dad, she was down at Southern, and her dad ran the IGA. Her mom was what? Francis. What was his name?
Clarence
Furco. They tell the story. We lived about 2 houses from him. She was at Southern, either got bad grades or got in trouble, and he wrote her a letter when he was mad. And they said you could still go on the table and put tracing paper and trace it and see what he wrote. He pressed down into the table. He was so upset with her. But she was full of life. Beautiful gal.
So is Bob Quinn in relation to Carl?
I think it's a brother, isn't he?
It's Pete's brother. Wouldn't it?
Oh, it's Pete?
It'd be, no, you're right. It would be Carl's brother.
I think it's Carl's brother.
Yeah. Man, he looks more like Pete.
It looks like Pete. Bill and I shot a lot of pool, and Pete was supposed to be delivering groceries for Bruce Williams, but he was down there with a cigar playing pool.
With Herkman Waring.
Those two guys played all the time.
Of course, I married a Quinn, but they're different Quins.
Different Quinn.
You married
This would have been before my wife's family got here.
We know her, but I can't.
We know the
name
gal
on
too.
On the far right.
You got a name for the gal on the far right? We know her, but
I can talk about Jane Furco a lot.
I don't have the one on the right. I've got the other two.
I bet you had a lot of comments on that, didn't you?
I do have a lot of comments on that picture.
I bet.
Oh boy.
Listen to him. Oh boy. I can guarantee you. That center girl.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? He said, oh boy. Go ahead. That's
That's
one of your favorites.
one of my favorite old high school flame, Glenda Cook. Bardine on the right,
And Susan Van Voorhis
Susan Van Voorhis on the left.
on the left.
Who's on the left?
Susan Van Voorhis.
Her mom taught music.
Elizabeth Van Voorhis
Elizabeth
was a
Van
music teacher, and her dad was Ned Van Voorhis, who taught sixth grade.
Yeah.
Mardina was really a knockout.
Okay, because Mary Toomey said Nancy Forrester.
No,
No, that's Susan Van Voorhis.
no.
Glenda Cook and Martina Bridges.
Yes.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay, there. Bob Taylor says I believe that's Susan Van Voorhis. Yeah,
Mhm.
there we go. Okay.
Bob's right.
So
I said the other night a ball game with Bob.
Can you take a break just a second? I just heard the doorbell.
yeah.
Beck not getting it.
I don't think she is.
All right. After a short break, let's see where we were.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Were we?
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Oh.
we're at oh boy.
Oh boy.
I think we already
Glenda.
did, yeah, we already did this one.
Maybe you just leave it alone.
Well, the 50th reunion. Go back to the Glenda Cook thing. Go back to so the 50th reunion. Glenda was there. Her name's Stanley now. She lives at Waco, Texas. She was there with her husband. I'm there with Becky, and we're getting ready to leave our 50th reunion. And somebody said, "How about one last kiss?"
Oh Lord.
We had a kiss, and I looked at her husband. And I said, "I'm harmless," and he goes, "I am too." A good time. It's sad. You want to what's that word? Get closure. Make up for all past sins. She's a great gal.
Did you do that with one last kiss or what? This is really interesting.
That is interesting, and that they look very familiar.
They look very familiar. The boy certainly does.
Yeah, that's Bill when he was young.
Yeah, no.
Give us initials here on this. On the girl on the left looks like we should know all of them.
Uh-huh.
JH and AK.
JH.
And MW.
Is that Huber? On the left.
That's Huber.
Ding,
That's
ding, 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 ding. Joe
that's
Huber.
That's Joe Huber.
Joe Huber.
Yeah.
And you know the one in the middle. She used to cut your hair.
Amy Kleiss.
Amy Kleiss.
Oh my gosh. And the boy is
Marcy says that's Mike Weaver.
You darn. Look at Amy, cute as a button.
cute as a bud.
He thinks anyway.
Joe's all dressed up, ready to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Style show was a big deal. Now
This
that's
was a little blurry.
This is class of 67. That's
Yep.
Larry. I'll do the bottom row, right to left, Larry Bunning, J. Patrick King, Gary Graham, and Gary Little. You do the back row.
Mhm. Back row. Sure looks like Toomey, Doug McCumber, Rob Kahneman, Chigger Nader, Chuck Nader, and Dana Bishop.
I think that's a track trophy.
It's a basketball on top.
You sure? Zero in
Yeah.
on the trophy.
Zero in on the trophy. Well, that's a little blurry.
I didn't know
Yeah,
Rob.
that's blurry.
I didn't know. Let's see.
Rob, are you?
I don't remember Bunning. Did
I don't
Chigger
remember.
Nader playing basketball?
What were those guys doing in track? Bunning and well, he ran. I don't know. That's a funny picture.
They're all trackmen too.
See,
Rob
Little
was-
quit playing basketball after a while.
Well, Rob was a sprint champion, and
That is Toomey, isn't it?
yeah, I think it's Mark Toomey on the left. Chigger was a runner. Bunning, I think, was a runner.
But that's when they were very young. Is that a freshman tournament?
I don't know. Could be sophomore.
What do you have?
It looked like sophomores. This looks like a 65 photo of the 67
right.
team.
They might have won the
JV.
Unity. No, that was it fresh soft?
I think Keno threw the discus. I think he was the weight guy.
Huh. That's basketball. I'm convinced.
There's Rita Dwinsing again on the right, I think. See, that's who I thought before. This is the same picture. Isn't that Rita?
Well, it looks like her, but I don't think it is.
Do we
I
have the
was-
same picture or one similar anyway?
Way back at the start, one of the first pictures you shot up was different. This one.
Jack Williams was in the picture.
Jack Williams was
first
in
one.
was in the first picture. I'm saying that's Rita Dwinsing. Mrs. Hauser. Not exactly sure.
Kind of looks like Janet Stroll. in
I was
a way.
getting ready to say Janet, but I wasn't sure. That's too far away for me to see who that is.
Well, Sharon Cappy says she thinks it's Sharon Marsh, 66.
Can't tell. That's Linda Callahan, isn't it?
No, that looks like a Billy Grove gal. I don't think that's Linda.
No, it's not Linda.
I don't have a name on that one.
I'm saying Billy Grove or Newman. Oh, there you go. There's
Oh,
yeah.
Diane Smith on the far left,
Yeah.
class of 66. More. Whoops, we just got lost. Are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on.
That was Maureen Deaver in the center.
We lost the picture.
We lost our picture.
You lost your picture?
Yeah.
Let me go back and get it. There, I got you now.
Now
You
we're
want me?
on now. Okay. Now show us the picture again. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Little Maureen, and that Mrs. McCarty?
No,
That's not Mrs. McCarty.
should know, but I don't.
Yeah, you only names I had are the same ones you got.
Yeah, those two girls, class of 66.
Oh boy, Don Fortney and Bob Arnold. That's our senior year basketball luncheon. And I'm trying to see.
They gave him an award for dating the most girls in the high school.
Don was so far ahead of us, we didn't even know what we were doing. Don went on to, was it Rebus or Regis College in Colorado? And I think
He's in the
Well-
Hall of Fame out there.
Hall of Fame, little All-American, and got a tryout in the 68 Olympics
For the Bull, and he
And-
also tried out for the Bulls.
and the Chicago Bulls. Great basketball player,
He really was.
one of the greats. And he was also probably one of our great football players, but he tore his knee up and didn't play. He missed 1 year with a knee and then didn't play his senior year to concentrate on basketball. There is the speaker, Dick Helm,
Uh-huh.
right through the microphone,
Yep,
looking up at him is Dick Helm,
yep.
who we talked about last week. Hall of Famer and about 5 Hall of Fames.
Where are you at in this picture, Mike?
No, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. That's I think, is that Susan? Is that Bob's wife right there?
Mrs. Arnold?
Mrs. Arnold?
I believe it is.
You're not in the picture, Mike, but I'll bet you're in the room.
Well,
He was behind the curtain. They didn't want him to come out until the very end.
no, I don't think,
Oh, there he is.
you know what, there, you did catch the corner of me on the left.
There you
left
are.
corner, sitting across from Don.
Yeah.
Butch Dietrich, Bill's
That's-
class.
I see Kevin Ryan. I see Don Snyder. Donnie Snyder. Hey, there's me. Look at that.
There's Bill Bill's always over my shoulder. Bill Enghart way back in the corner. See that little face sticking around the corner?
See that flag on the far left? That's me.
Look at you. You and Mike
Yeah.
Yeah,
right there
That's
next to each
Mike.
other.
Two of us together.
yeah.
And there's the Paris Holiday Trophy
Yeah, it's about 48 feet high.
sitting in the middle of that table.
There's Dick Helm in the lower right-hand corner
Yep.
with glasses.
That's Butch Dietrich,
Good old Butch.
who must have won something or the other, maybe. Butch, really good basketball
We
player.
call him Butch, but he goes by John.
John, but he was,
Butch back then.
boy, I'll tell you what, I still think he would have been the best at golf if he had just,
We didn't have a golf
Kept
team
going.
back then, but Keno was the star golfer, but Butch would
Yeah.
have been right there
he'd been right there with
if
him.
he had played with it.
Yeah,
So
that was one good basketball team.
did we get all the names? Rudy Huber says Butch Dietrich, Bob Arnold, Mike Carroll, Don Fortney seated.
Kevin Ryan over on the other side. And I really want him to make note of me on the left.
Nobody caught Bill back there in the cheap seats. Bill was seated back in the science room and snuck in. Dingo.
I had been studying that evening.
That's right. Cracking down.
A lot of comments on that picture.
Yeah, that's Dick Helm.
Dick Helm, famous coach.
We've talked, if people are new to this program, class of 51, football, basketball, track. He's a Tuscola Hall of Fame, went to Wheaton, basketball, football, track, Hall of Fame, coached up there, Hall of Fame coach. Coached in the pros with Lenny Wilkins at Portland Trailblazers and out at Atlanta Hawks, and he's in the assistant coach Hall of Fame in Ohio. And he may be in a lot of other Hall of Fames. One of Tuscola's greatest guys.
Great athlete.
These are the SAR winners, and that's Alan Hall from Tuscola, our quarterback.
On the far left's Ed Allen
Eddie
from
Allen.
Newman, and that's Burnett from Villa Grove.
Uh-huh.
And that's Hilgendorf from Arthur, I believe.
And this is from Steve Kiley from Atwood.
Atwood.
And also inducted into the Hall of Fame was Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus back there in the third from the right,
I think that's it.
the back.
Yeah, where's that at, Bill?
Well, I want to say it's at the Presbyterian Church, but I shouldn't because I just don't know.
Good boys.
Good boys.
I love good boys.
Good boys.
There's the
There's the
cheer-
cheerleaders.
My senior year, there are the cheerleaders, left to right. Debbie Hackett, Mary Toomey, Sandy Rankin, and you know who, love of my life,
Yeah, the love of your life.
Rebecca Kegley, Cook Carroll.
There you go. Beck's looking good there. And looking good now.
Yeah, you keep using past tense, buddy. You're a harsh growl. Bill's having a bad day.
You
David.
got both of you guys and your wives in this week's pictures.
No.
That's tremendous.
Mhm.
Did you work at that?
No, that was an accident. Happy little accident.
No, that's Burnett.
Oh, that's Burnett from Villa
Yeah, he
Grove.
played. Was he center?
Yeah, he's about 6'2".
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Porter.
Porter, one of the Porter girls, Tanya or
Valerie?
Valerie.
I think that's Tanya.
They were
Yeah, Sharon Cappy says Tanya, no relation.
Yeah, right. Because
Mark Bright,
oh boy, look at there. The big
6
center,
foot,
boy.
6'5.5", gentle giant. Oh, now we got Don sitting next to our captain, Lonnie Von Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
and over besides Lonnie is Oaks,
Mm-hmm. Gary.
Gary Oaks.
So yeah, Sharon Cappy says Mark Bright receiving basketball award from Coach Arnold.
Yep.
I wonder if I got a letter that year. Oh, did I letter that year?
I think they gave you one.
Did they?
Yeah, just hand them out freely.
Yeah.
We already have this picture. One similar.
No, Sandy Stinson on the left.
You know, she was really a good looking
Yeah,
gal.
Sandy Stinson, Marcia Truitt,
Marsha Williams now.
and come on, that's is that Polig?
No. And it's not Lynn Statzer either.
I started to say Len Statcher.
And we should know who it is. Boy, Kelly knew what he was doing, didn't he?
Kelly's no idiot.
Kelly's no idiot.
Who's the gal? The older lady.
That's all the names I had.
Okay.
And that's it for this week.
Okay.
Wow, we took care of that.
Good job, David.
Well, you guys improved after the first few.
Well,
You got into 65.
it takes a while.
You know what? After Bill said Andrea was pretty, there was nowhere for Bill to go but up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Thank
guys,
God-
you guys
thank
know
God
how to step in it, don't you?
Well, yes, we do. And thank God Andre doesn't watch the podcast.
There you go. That helps.
But he'll go home and tell her that he saw her picture.
Well, I will, but
So then she might look it up and watch it.
They'll say, what did you say, Bill? I said, you're still beautiful. And David, in your background, you have a picture of, what is that? Can you zero in on your picture back there?
I don't know if I can zero in. I have to without. Kids playing poker on top of a cigar box.
Okay, I thought it was a holy thing like the Last Supper, but I see, no, that's
Kind of
it's the Last Supper.
antithesis of the Last Supper.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the first card game.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Everybody back in 65 was beautiful and handsome.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You know?
And I bet that one picture in particular brought back a lot of memories for a lot of people our age, and that was Jane.
Jane Furco was larger, almost larger than life. She really lived.
She really lived in her short number of years. She really lived.
She was, you know,
I was still in diapers when those pictures were taken.
Yeah, you were.
when I was in the 7th grade, maybe, and Jane was in the 6th grade. It could have been, but I remember one summer night.
She's pretty neighbors to you.
She's right next to Brookside.
Yeah.
She was just 2 houses away. Larry Bunning, who lived right next to her to the north, and Susan Nuccio, who lived about a block away
Mm-hmm.
East of the old North Ward. Susan Nuccio, Jane Furco, and Larry Bunning and I, it was at night, played this game where you run around, you catch them, you kiss them. And after about 10 minutes, I saw Larry run off and the 2 girls ran after him. And I'm sitting there I'm sitting there picking cherries off of Furco's cherry tree there on the south side. I was yelling, "Here I am." I think they had a hard time hearing back then.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't see me. No, I was never very good at anything like that. Bill, on the other hand, was really good at that.
Mm. Jane was a special gal.
Oh, Jane was she was a handful. Mitch dated her. Alan Mitchner dated her in high school.
Alan, that was a hot number there. Yeah.
Thieves.
The other guy that dated her was John McGrath.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, that got in the way of Donnie Smith. Donnie Smith and Richard Lindsay decided that one night at Weaver's Cafe, they would challenge John McGrath because he wasn't supposed to be messing around with Donnie's girlfriend.
You don't want to challenge John McGrath.
That was a bad decision.
And Richard's strong as a bull.
And Richard was strong as a bull, but
it
didn't work that night.
Just watch the deer and the animals out there when they're in rut. Watch them butt heads and kill each other. I mean, we're not that far from the animals, are we?
No, we're really
when
not.
the mating season is on in high school,
no,
you duke it out.
A
lot of fights back then over gals.
Yeah,
Johnny Beatty and Cromwell over Diane Moore.
That didn't go well for Mr. Cromwell.
You don't want to fight Johnny Beatty or John McGrath. you and I were more negotiators.
I would negotiate. Compromise.
Yeah, you want my car? You want my car? Yeah, I'm a negotiator.
We had a lot of fun back then.
David. It was fairly innocent times back then.
Yep.
As every time Mark Penny and I talk about the old days and the current days, and I bitch, he goes, "That's the world we live in today." And so that's where we live today. Except when we get on your program here, we get to go backwards. That's where we get to live for about an hour and a half.
You ought to get Petty on here.
Well, I don't want you to regret it if I do.
Well, that could happen.
You know.
I'll tell you what, Marcy has a lot of names we don't.
Oh, Marcy knows.
She knows all the country folk.
Marcy and Rudy could do the program and get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Dave Henderson the other day, talking about his dad. We never did get Boyd on here. Boyd would know everybody in the 50s. He'd know where every gas station was. And
well, Utterback knows.
Bob Utterback would know this stuff.
I was checking my voicemail the other day and came across a voicemail from Boyd, and so I couldn't delete it.
No.
So,
No. There's so many Boyd stories. Well, he saved my dad's life when I was in the 5th grade. So always indebted to Boyd.
Yep.
Ran in and drug him out of the burning Brookside his senior year.
Boyd did enjoy a history of Tuscola.
Boyd, you think Bill and I are sentimental. Boyd was way more. And Boyd would surf the internet for Tuscola memorabilia. He'd show me
Mhm.
stuff he bought on the internet. I didn't even know they had Tuscola stuff on the internet.
Oh yeah. Go to eBay.
Well, how do I go to eBay? Do I turn on the computer?
Yeah, you turn on the computer.
And I just say eBay. I just go
Go,
eBay
go
to
to
it.
go to your browser. Go to
What's a browser?
your how you get on the internet.
Well, Becky's how I get on the internet.
Okay, well tell Becky you want to go to eBay.
We do you just punch in Tuscola, Illinois.
You go to ebay.com and then search for Tuscola, and it will come up with a lot of stuff you don't want.
From Tuscola?
Well, it's got Tuscola County, Michigan. It's got
Tuscola, Texas.
Tuscola and Saginaw Railroad, and so you have
So
to kind of,
how do you narrow it down?
well, you can put down, like, let's say you've got Michigan, you can put Tuscola minus Michigan. Then anything with Tuscola, Michigan won't come up.
Can you type in Tuscola, Illinois?
Well, you can put Tuscola, Illinois, and then what you can do is you can put in parentheses Illinois, comma, IL, comma, ILL, and put all that in parentheses. And anything with Tuscola that has any of those iterations would come up.
Wow, I thought you just put Illinois enough, but so you're saying you got to put all
Well,
of them.
sometimes people, when they list something, they don't write Illinois. They might abbreviate it. So if you just put Illinois, that might not pop up.
This is called eBay.
eBay. Yeah.
Is it new?
Yeah, it's brand new. It's just started yesterday.
Well, we're not on Facebook either, So now Caldwell tells me I need to get on Facebook. So
No, YouTube is where we are too. I told someone the other day who really enjoyed your pictures, David, that this person said, and I believe you're on that YouTube. And I said, yes, we are. I told them again.
Yeah. So, Mike, you could put up a fake account with a different name if you don't want to engage in conversation with people. You can just use it to access the Remembering Tuscola. Use the Bill Englehart's name. He's not using it.
Bob Hastings.
the Red Baron, Bullet
Yeah,
Bob.
Yeah, you could do that. Cause see, I use a fake name on mine so that people don't see my real identity. Oh, there it is again.
Clark Dent.
Clark Dent.
Very good, David. You always have something special every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to mix it up a little.
There you go.
All right. Are we done?
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
Enjoy it.
Thanks for helping out. We'll see you next week on Remembering Tuscola.